Welcome to Off the Cuff with Namrita, and today with me is Kausar Munir, lyricist and scriptwriter. She is here attending the Sala 2023 festival. Yeah, welcome,
Thank you so much.
Kausar.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for giving me the time. And what I read was you were the first woman to win Filmfare for lyrics.
That's
That
right.
is
That's true.
in 22. It's been a while since a woman.
67 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is some accomplishment. So congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Was it for 83?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Great.
yeah, that
For
was
Lehra
nice.
Do.
Lehra Do,
Yes,
beautiful song.
yes.
It's become a national
It
anthem of
has,
sorts
yes.
now.
It was
Beautiful.
kind of part of the Asiad Games, sort of the anthem of the
Yes,
country.
it
Yes.
was, and I actually loved, like we were talking earlier, your song, the in color. So tell us about your collaboration for that. There were so many lyricists,
Right.
writing so many wonderful songs, and yours went something like "बादल ना तोरे उधेड़ूंगी अब से." I mean, ये words आजकल सुनने को नहीं मिलते हैं.
Yeah.
Such beautiful language. So tell me about your project, Kala.
So well, it's interesting to me that you've picked this one song because there were 5 songs in the film and 5 different lyricists, and yeah.
Yes.
So I've been doing this lyrics work for the past 10 years or so. And I've collaborated with Amit Trivedi, who's the composer, a lot.
Yes.
In fact, my first film, full film in which I did the entire album, Ishaq Zadeh.
Oh, yeah.
That was, I wrote all the songs for that, and Amit was the composer.
Okay.
But basically, I'm delighted to say that, contrary to whatever perceptions people might have of the industry, and at least,
Yeah.
some of it, Amit Trivedi is a composer, but me, Amitabh Bhattacharya, who's a top lyricist, Swanand Kirkire, who's a poet, writer, lyricist, Varun Grover, I mean,
amazing,
we
all
don't
of
need
them.
to, and Anvita, who is the director of Kala,
Yes.
writer-director, and
Yeah.
she's a lyricist, and me. 5 songs, 5 different
Yes.
lyricists, because we are absolutely and truly great friends.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was Anvita's wish that each of her friends should write for the movie, and she kind of cast each of us for the particular song situation.
Okay.
And coming back now to the language,
Yes.
भाई जो जरूरत होगी फिल्म की और स्क्रिप्ट की,
हाँ.
so this was set in the 1930s.
30s, yeah.
So it was delightful for me to be able to use that language, because that was the language of the time.
Absolutely, yes.
Jubilee, I wrote 11 songs for Jubilee, which is set in 1940s, based against the backdrop of, so there was a ghazal. My references were Babuji Dheere Chalna and Ramaiya Basta Bhaiya and Ye Duniya Agar Mil Bhi Jaye To Kya Hai. तो जो जिस दुनिया का गाना है आप उसी vocabulary में लिखेंगे.
That is true. That is true. And Kala itself was such a
beautiful film,
beautiful
yes.
film, very poetic in every
Absolutely.
aspect, aesthetically,
yes.
visually, everything was so lovely. Correct. About, I was like, wow, at least, some people are making such movies.
So I would say a poet's gaze and a woman director's gaze.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bilkul. I agree. Anvita and,
yes.
Magic of her words,
yes.
and everything. And in one of the interviews, Kausar, you said that lyric writing is very different from poetry writing.
Yes.
It's a very different animal, or art.
Yeah.
Could you explain why you said that?
So
because earlier on, if you say 50s, 60s, we had a lot of poets writing lyrics. I think most of them were poets, like Sahir Ludhianvi.
Yeah, see, I can't fight nostalgia. It was a young industry. It was a different time. It was the time of Nehruvian socialism. There was a budding country. People were looking towards hope and progress, and they had strong and free voices of in which direction the country should go. Urdu, Punjabi, Hindustani, ये college की languages थी. आज लोग nowadays the youngsters or us, we save time by not typing O in an OK, and we say K. So yeah, so let's not blame the poets and the writers and the lyricists. जो वक्त की नजाकत है और जो वक्त की जरूरत है, उस हिसाब से लिखाई होती है और होती रहेगी. Having said that, yes, poetry, you have to find a way of getting poetic thought into your lyrics, because lyrics, like I said, is a different beast. You are writing to a melody, You're writing for a situation, you're writing for a film, you're writing for a character, you're writing, and which the progressive poets and the poets of the 50s and 60s didn't have to do. You're writing for millions of views. You're writing for YouTube. You're writing for a music company that wants to exist the next year. So that's why it's very different. I also do poetry, but that I do for myself, that I do in sort of a free verse and a free voice. Whereas when it's lyrics, I have many masters. I have a producer, I have a director, I have a composer, I have a music company, and I have my responsibility to all of them. And I have this 16 to 25-year-old demographic who doesn't care or understand what classical Urdu poetry is.
Very true. You're catering to a very different market.
Absolutely.
But my next question was about that. Obviously, like you said, everything has changed. So society changes and the language changes,
and you reflect that.
And you have to reflect. But how do you keep your identity, alive in the songs you write?
So I'll kind of use the example of a writer who I think has stood the test of time for the last 5 decades or more, perhaps now, Gulzar Saab.
I know.
So, for example, people have a huge, angst against, let's say, item numbers that we have in films. भाई लेकिन अगर तवाइफ गा रही है या लाइक रजियां गुंडों के बीच फंसी हुई है तो वो भजन तो नहीं गाएगी ना. वो तो but having said that, the caliber of a writer like Gulzar Saab can produce an item number like Bidi Jalai or Kajrare. Those are, I mean, don't be fooled by it. Those are item numbers.
Yes.
As opposed to somebody who's a far lesser writer or thinker or just working for the market forces, and then he will say, oh, Fevicol laga lo or tandoori murgi utha lo. So I feel it is about skill, craft, caliber, and the most important thing, niyat.
Niyat, intent is very important.
So आपकी जो नियत है, and that so kind of you'll have to be able, niyat will define your voice.
Lovely answer. And next question was about web series and OTT coming up. Do you think it's killing the music market? Because we have very less songs in there. So I don't know. That's what no. Okay.
Jubilee would have never been possible.
Yeah, but far and few, no?
Far and few, but it's an additional. It's not killing.
Okay.
It is something that is added on to your repertoire.
Okay.
OTT is not killing music. The fact that now people are not having lip sync songs or the storytelling format has changed. What was unique about Hindi, Indian cinema is that our movies sing. We don't care about musicals because it is inherent from our traditions of folk and theatre and Parsi theatre and tamasha and everything. All our regions, all our storytelling is through music. The threat is not through newer mediums of not through new media, but through different choices of storytelling. But I still feel it's cyclical. It'll come back, and I'm very thrilled with OTT. I just wrote the dialogue for this fabulous show called Rocket Boys.
Yes,
I wrote the dialogue for both seasons.
So well.
It did well. It won me awards and rewards.
Yes,
so I'm not complaining.
Good. For writers, I know. Apna time aa gaya. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great answer again. And you did say that you don't think much about the future. You try to live in the moment. So anything you pursue besides writing and poetry?
Well, it's in your American Constitution, the pursuit of happiness. So I'd say, but not in some sort of faraway goal, not to do with bank balance or property or the latest Tesla. But I suppose, this morning I had a wonderful afternoon walking around the campus, the Stanford campus. But what made it really beautiful with me that my daughter, who studies on the East Coast, was with me.
Yes.
So that made it special and. Well, I ticked my box for pursuit of happiness today.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, that's a great way to think, and go day by day. In the end, I'll just ask any contemporary writers that you look up to and get inspired by.
I look up to, like I said, we are wonderful friends and colleagues. And जब भी मैं कोई ऐसा कोई थॉट है, कोई ऐसी लाइन है, कोई ऐसा जुमला है जो मैं सुनती हूँ, जो मुझे लगता है कि हाँ, ये मेरे जहन में क्यों नहीं आया, आई एम इंस्पायर्ड, आई एम फायर्ड बाय दैट, यू नो, एंड इन अ गुड पॉजिटिव वे. And kind of, you know, I'm not reticent at all, or I'm not sort of envious in that way, that I won't pick up the phone and I'll have that discussion with Irshad Kamil or
Prasoon Joshi bhi alag type ke hain.
Yeah, well, yeah. I haven't picked up the phone on him, but I've been told, you know, whether it's the names of the people I took earlier. So I feel very privileged that we are part of a group and a community who respect each other and who are aware that there is space for everyone.
That is true.
And there is, and we all have our unique strengths, and we can also learn from each other. And where we lack, we can learn.
You absolutely, like you know, Javed ji said, if you want to learn and grow, you need to read a lot. You need to read, you know, different writers.
So Javed साहब का आपने नाम लिया, तो I would love to share that Javed साहब is so kind कि वो फोन करके कहते हैं कि भाई ये तुमने बहुत अच्छा लिखा, और वो फोन करके कहते हैं कि ये तुमने गड़बड़ की है, मैं और and he will, and he'll sort of, you know, talk you through it, or hold your hand through it. So that's what more can one ask for?
Yeah, amazing. And thank you so much for giving your time today, Kausar. I know you've come a long way from. Arey nahi yaar, you know it's my pleasure, because I love what you write, and you've come a long way from Jessie to Boomer now, and you know, wish you the best, and would love to see more of your work. And I did go to a panel discussion yesterday by Deepak Ramola, and he actually asked this question to the audience, so I'm stealing this question from him.
Deepak Ramola was one of the speakers for a show, or a TED Talks special.
Oh yeah,
that so India had a two-part series on hosted by Shah Rukh Khan.
Oh,
so I had written that show.
Acha,
so I know him from there. Yes.
Yeah. So he did ask that if life was a cycle of seasons, which season are you in now? मैंने कहा पोएट हो कुछ.
नहीं, लेकिन हर साल मौसम बदलता है. तो मेरे पूरी उम्र एक ऐसे 4 मौसम में
नहीं है. अभी आपको ज्यादा
मेरे आज के दिन में 4 मौसम.
अच्छा, समय.
And they don't necessarily and they don't necessarily follow the rhythms of nature as you know it. Right now it's feeling very spring-like. We'll know in an hour what it feels like.
No, looking forward to your panel discussion, you know, with Tanuja Chandra.
सर्द ना हो जाए मौसम.
नहीं, वो भी अच्छा होता है. मैं तो हिमाचल की हूँ. Thank you so much, Kausar. Lovely chatting with you.
Absolutely.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Shosha is a creative Indian restaurant located in the heart of Silicon Valley. Shosha is a woman-owned business that serves traditional Indian flavors assimilated with molecular gastronomy techniques. The best Indian bar with happy hours in the Bay Area serves handcrafted drinks inspired by flavors from India with modern craft cocktails that are presented in unique ways. Shosha is a modern take on traditional Indian cuisine. We specialize in corporate luncheon, anniversary celebrations, birthday parties, and catering. Do check us out for a memorable modern Indian dining experience. Shosha is located at 141 South Murphy Avenue in Sunnyvale, California.